All right, so good morning, everybody. This is Jeff with Next Home Peaks to Prairie. I'm here today with Sam Hensler of Dynamic Analysis, and we're going to cover a few of the topics we consider to be important as home buyers, get into contract and they start considering things, all things related structural. So, with no waste, let's get going.
All right.
All right. So, Sam, question one: can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what a structural engineer does for homeowners, potential buyers, and for builders?
Sure. So, graduated from Montana State University in Bozeman with a degree in construction engineering. Went into a kind of an interesting path early in my career. Initially working on building military housing as a project manager up in Great Falls, and then back to Bozeman to design uranium processing plants.
Oh, wow.
So facilities that design or mine and package yellow cake uranium, and within that developed a large background in a lot of aspects of engineering. Structural obviously is one of them, as we did all the supports and the building. A little bit of chemical, a little bit of mining engineering, and a small amount of nuclear. So a little bit of everything. So when I moved to Billings, I had a broad background that I could work in most engineering firms, and I ended up working for Eggert Engineering Company, EC, to assist with their structural engineering needs, and they did a lot of forensic home inspections, and the owner there wanted to be able to step back from having to do those. They wanted me to step in his place, and so that's when I familiarized myself with the homes and neighborhoods and the issues going on in the Billings community, and then using my background as a structural engineer, applying that knowledge along with the experience grown looking at various houses for years to get an idea of what's going on here and what needs to be done to prevent it.
Cool. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Military housing, that had to keep you busy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Right on. If you had to estimate the percentage of homes in and around the Billings area, what percentage of homes would you say have structural issues that need addressing?
Yeah, that's a hard one because almost every single house that I get called to look at, because there's an issue. So my view is skewed.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say probably a little over, around half of the houses I get called to look at do have warrantable issues that do need to be addressed. About half the ones I get called out to, they're fine. It's just minimal things that don't really have any serious structural issues. So within my small subset of houses that I look at that people do have concerns about half of those tend to have issues, which probably means we're down into the single digits of overall houses that have those issues.
Cool. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
What's the average cost of a structural report?
We do a flat fee for our structural reports so that people don't get hit with a large unexpected bill, and just kind of try and fairly distribute the amount of hours that we spend. So at the end of every year, we evaluate how much time we're spending on average on each one, and try and pick a fair price that suits everyone's needs. Right now, they're $650 for a structural report. For a full comprehensive or a partial report, that'll include an evaluation of the house and a complete explanation of any issues that we noticed, and a vague sort of address of how to address those issues. Not necessarily a full repair plan that might be large, but if it's a relatively easy task, then we can provide some really simple details. But if it's like we need to design, a whole fix for this that's going to be much more involved than just a report, it'll at least give you an idea of what you're looking at to fix. But those are $650, and then for people who don't need a report, who just want to know for their own peace of mind, whether it's a house that they live in, just want to know if they have an issue, or if they're looking at potentially doing an addition or something and just need to know, have a visit with a structural engineer, or if you're an investor looking to buy a house and you don't need a report because you're going to buy with cash, and you just want to know, is there healthy bones in this investment or not? It's a $300 verbal consult.
Cool. And can you give us examples of costs for potential repairs? So what's it cost to do some peering on a house?
Yeah,
on average.
Yeah. Hard right now because the costs of everything has fluctuated so much over the last 4 years. For example, 8 years ago, I used to tell people to expect about $750 to $1,000 per pier if they're going to underpin a foundation. 2 years ago, I was telling people about $1,500 to $2,000, and now I tell people $3,500 per pier because the price of steel has jumped so significantly. The price of labor has also gone up, and all the materials that go into that, the galvanization, everything's grown exponentially in the last 5 years or so. But still, a lot of the really common things like sealing cracks in the foundations, about $100 a foot. Piers, doing a resistance pile down to bedrock is roughly, unless you have extenuating circumstances, is about $3,500 per pier right now. Getting an entire foundation replacement obviously depends on the layout of the house, the size, the specific issues going on, attachments. But for a very simple sort of 60s era house that's relatively rectangular, easy access, and is maybe anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 square feet up or down, you're looking at about 80,000 to 100,000 to get an entire foundation replacement done.
Okay. And there aren't a lot of folks in town that do that, correct? It's kind of a limited supply of people.
There's one contractor in particular who's gone out of his way to make it a specialty of his to basically address any issues that our firm comes up with. So he'll do basically anything that we recommend to, and he's spent the last 4 or 5 years developing expertise in dealing with each of our sorts of recommendations, and we've grown relatively a good working relationship with him, so that he understands what it is that we need. He knows when he needs to check in with us, when he needs to stop work and call, have us come look at something. We've worked with many contractors. He's not the only one who does this sort of work, but he's one of the few who will do sort of extensive structural repairs. And we've had issues with certain contractors in the past who will kind of take our plans and either not understand how to read them and not call us with questions, or will think they have a better idea and will do their own thing. And then when we come out to take a look, it's not anything that we had designed, and the fix that was implemented doesn't make any sense.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Do you also service areas, or do you go inspect areas such as Red Lodge, Bridger, Columbus?
Yeah, I was in Bridger this morning.
Cool.
Yeah. We service the entire state of Montana and Wyoming.
Wow.
We've been requested in Idaho and North Dakota. Haven't bothered to get the licensure over there yet, and I guess Washington as well. And so they're kind of on the list. It took us a while to finally go through the hoops of having to get licensure in Wyoming and manage those licenses. And if we get enough requests for those other states, then we might expand those areas too. But yeah, right now, all of Montana and all of Wyoming.
All right.
A lot of travel.
It just adds to the notion everybody knows Sam. I love it.